I've never spoken about that night at Malmstrom until now. Even after all these years, every detail still sits in the back of my mind like a photograph burned into memory. I was on duty, deep underground, surrounded by steel and concrete, the kind of place where silence feels heavy. I remember touching the console just to ground myself. Something had been bothering me all evening, an uneasy pressure in the air, as if the base itself was holding its breath. I tried to ignore it, but the sensation clung to me like a cold fog. I didn't know then that reality was about to bend in a way I couldn't explain, that I would soon question every assumption I had about the world above us.
My shift partner muttered something about strange readings on the perimeter sensors, but I barely heard him. A low hum vibrated through the floor, so faint I thought it was my imagination. I closed my eyes for a moment, letting the sensation travel up my spine. When I opened them, the lights flickered just once, a brief pulse of white that washed over the room like distant lightning. We ran diagnostics, but everything looked normal on the surface. Still, I felt watched, as if something enormous hovered far above us, focused on our tiny sealed world. The hum grew steadier, almost rhythmic, syncing with my heartbeat. I didn't say it aloud, but something in me knew. Whatever it was not human.
When the alarms finally triggered, it wasn't the blaring chaos I expected, but just a muted chime, almost polite, almost hesitant. Every missile indicator on the board slid from green to a color I had never seen used in any drill. Not red, not yellow, something in between, like burning amber. It felt wrong, as if the system itself didn't know how to classify what was happening. My partner swore under his breath, tapping buttons that refused to respond. The room darkened around the edges, leaving the console's glow as the only solid point in my vision. My ears filled with a pressure that made it hard to swallow. I had the sense of being lifted without moving, suspended in a moment that stretched too long. I radioed the surface, but all I heard was static layered with a soft, whispering tone. The sound didn't feel mechanical. It felt intentional, almost like someone trying to imitate human communication, but not quite getting the cadence right. A strange, prickling sensation crawled up my arms, and I noticed the fine hairs drifting upward as if gravity was relaxing its rules. Equipment on the desk vibrated gently, circling in place without rolling off. I felt weightless and heavy at once, caught between two states I didn't recognize. My breathing slowed without my permission. The whispering static thickened, folding into a steady pulse that matched the hum vibrating through my bones. Then, our external cameras froze, not malfunctioned, but locked into a single impossible frame. A glowing disk hovered above the base, its surface shimmering, like liquid metal reacting to moonlight. I stared at it on the monitor and felt a wave of warmth spread across my face, though I was buried beneath tons of earth. The disk pulsed in silent intervals, each flash stirring something deep in my chest. I felt oddly calm, as if a presence was brushing gently against my thoughts. It wasn't speech, not really, but an inquiry. Curious, patient, aware. The missiles around us, the symbols of power we guarded, suddenly felt like toys in the shadow of something vastly older.
The power grid rippled. Every screen dimmed to half brightness, yet the disk on the monitor glowed brighter, as if feeding on the blackout rather than causing it. I felt pressure building in my head, not painful, more like someone turning a dial to tune my thoughts. Memories surfaced, childhood nights staring at the stars, the ache of unanswered questions, the quiet certainty that we were not alone. The room felt small, too small to contain the presence pressing against my awareness. My partner called my name, but his voice sounded stretched, slowed, like I was hearing him from underwater. All I could focus on was the disk, its pulsing light syncing with my heartbeat again and again. Suddenly, the light snapped off entirely. The darkness wasn't empty. It felt textured, almost alive. A soft blue glow seeped through the seams of the glass door, spreading across the floor like mist illuminated from below. I raised my hand, and the light clung to my skin as though recognizing me. My thoughts sharpened in a way I can't fully explain. Every sound, every shift of air, every vibration felt intimately close. I sensed something just beyond the door, not approaching, but waiting. The silence held a strange compassion, a patience that felt ancient. I wasn't terrified. I was being observed, studied, maybe even understood. The blast door unlocked with a sound I had never heard before. A quiet click, like two pieces of glass meeting. The blue light intensified, washing over everything in waves that carried faint drifting particles, shimmering like snow suspended in water. I stepped toward the corridor without thinking. Fear should have rooted me in place, yet I felt guided, almost invited. The walls glowed faintly, their harsh edges softened as if reality itself was being rewritten. A warm current brushed against my cheek. I knew I wasn't alone, though I saw no figures, only presence, vast and deliberate, moving with a grace beyond understanding. As I moved deeper into the corridor, space seemed to stretch subtly, distances expanding and contracting like a slow inhale. The air vibrated with a soft resonance that felt musical, though no melody existed. My thoughts weren't entirely my own anymore. They echoed, layered, as if listened to by something unseen. The blue radiance shifted toward pale gold, revealing a faint, swirling pattern on the floor, almost organic despite its precision. I reached toward it instinctively, and a warmth pulsed through my fingertips, sending ripples across my vision. It didn't hurt. It felt like recognition, as though something immense had reached back. Then, without warning, everything snapped back. The lights, the consoles, the normal hum of the bass, the disc on the monitor vanished, leaving only darkness above the silo. The missiles returned to ready status, as if nothing had happened. My partner stared at me with wide, confused eyes, as if waking from the same impossible dream. But it wasn't a dream. Something had reached into our sealed world, touched our systems, touched our minds, and left without a trace, except memory. Even now, when I close my eyes, I can feel that pulse again, steady, patient, as if waiting for the right moment to return. And part of me wonders if it already has.